friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. In today's video, I am going to take you through the first of my two projects that I am going to create using the digital evening story kit from Ali Edwards. So this is one of the projects that I had planned in yesterday's digital hybrid planning video, which if you haven't caught that, make sure to go back and check it out for some ideas on how to come up with different stories to tell and design layouts using digital kits. This is a new series that I am starting this month, and hopefully it will help you guys with some of the hybrid stuff. So today, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to take you over to my desktop to show you how I created all of these digital elements using Photoshop Elements. If you are a Photoshop Creative Cloud user, I have a second video up today that will take you through this exact same process, but using the Creative Cloud software instead of using the Photoshop Elements software. That way, whatever program you're using inside of Photoshop, I hopefully will have you covered. So we're going to head over there. I'm going to show you how I created all of these digital elements, including the flat lay photo with all of the edits here. And then once I have that done, and once I've taken you through that process, we're going to come back over here to get this assembled. Hey friends, welcome over to my desktop here. In this video today, we are going to be using Photoshop Elements to recreate the same spread that I did in the full version of Photoshop. So if you are an Elements user, this is going to be the video for you. Today's spread is all about the quote-unquote stuff of bedtime. So the things that my kids must have in order to go to bed at night. I have already completed the spread in the full version of Photoshop for my daughter. So if you are a full version of Photoshop user, that will be the photo for you. And then today we're going to be doing the same exact spread for my son. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So I am, full disclosure, I'm using an older version of Elements because this is currently what I own. I am planning to go ahead and upgrade this to the current version so that when I film videos like this, I'm using the most updated. I just haven't had a chance to do that yet, and I figure I'll wait until things are a little bit more settled here at home to do that. But eventually we'll get there. Probably in the month of July is when I will make that happen. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my files. And I've got the stuff of bedtime. So inside of my hybrid folders, I have this story idea, the stuff of bedtime. I've got all of the things I'm thinking I'm going to need for the spread. And then I also have a file of photos that are for Jonah. One of the photos I already went ahead and edited and cropped, and that is my 6x8 photo, which you can see right here. So I'm going to grab this magnifying glass just because it looks a little pixelated right now and just put it to print size so that it looks a little bit nicer and doesn't bother me, but you can do whatever. Then at the bottom of the screen here, if I click on the photo bin, I opened up some of the photos of my son's stuff. Now I have 3 of them. Which are all slightly different. Some are a little bit more zoomed out than the others. And the reason I kept 3, or I'm going to test 3 of them, is because I want to make sure that when I crop this down to a 3x8, that as much of the stuff can fit into that photo as possible. So let's make that happen. We're going to come over to the crop tool here on the left side, and then down at the bottom, I want to use my drop menu to select no restriction. This is going to let me designate my own width and height and resolution. So my width is going to be 3 inches, my height is going to be 8 inches, and my resolution, I need to make sure I also put in, is 300 pixels per inch. So now this is going to be, the size of my photo. So if I move this to the left too much, we're going to lose out on the sound machine, which I kind of would like to have in this because that will not always be there. If I move it too much to the right, then we're losing, we can still see everything, but there's only a section of the book and then a section of the cup. So for now, let's just crop it to this and then we'll see what happens. I also could totally, again, no restriction. Let's crop this to that 3x8 by 300. And then, there we go, 300. Yes. So I want this to go all the way to the bottom. So it looks to me like all of these may have somewhat of a problem with their, is that going to be the right? Yes. With their distance from the camera. What happens for this one? Is this one any better? This one's probably the best of them all. It's also the furthest away. So let's come back to, okay, there's nothing for me to undo here, right? Goodness gracious. Okay, so let's come back to our photo. We're going to get as much of this as possible. We'll come into you here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make it bigger than the photo. So you know what? Let's cancel that and grab the magnifying glass, and we're going to zoom out so that we can see more of the photo all the way around here. Okay, now let's go back to that crop tool. We're going to do the 3x8. We'll click on the first suggestion here. And then what I'm going to do is now we can see like how much white space are we going to get at the bottom if I expand it to here. I actually think that's going to be okay. So let's go ahead and hit the enter button. And what happens, because now we can zoom back in, what happens is we get this big white space down here at the bottom. That's okay. We will fix that here in just a minute. Now that we have this cropped the way that I like it, the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and adjust the brightness and the contrast. So I went up to this circle that's like half dark and half light, and I'm just going to increase the brightness until I get it to where I like it. Yeah, it's probably good. Increase the contrast to give it a little bit more depth. And then that looks good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these two layers and we will merge them together. So I'm selecting them both and then hitting merge layers. I don't really need this anymore, so we'll put that away. Okay, so next what I want to do is open up my camera raw filter. So we're going to go to File, and then we're going to go to Open in Camera Raw, which it looks like I need to save it first. So we're going to File and Save As. And this one we're going to save as a 3x8 photo. That's all good. Now let's open it in Camera Raw. So we'll pop it open here. Let's select it here. And then it's going to open up a new window with that photo in it. And actually I might need to close out of it in order to do that. Let's try that again. So we're going to, not that. We're going to open in Camera Raw the 3x8 photo. There it is. So for this one, what we want to do is adjust our white balance. So up at the top of the menu, I'm going to click on this little eyedropper tool and then select an area in this. So if I were to select the blue, it's going to like alter everything to that. So I want to select the white so that it makes that white. Then we're going to take our clarity and we're going to up that a little bit. And I'm also going to up my saturation just a little bit as well. And then we'll hit open image. So now it's going to open that with our adjustments in there as well. The last thing I need to do is go ahead and use my dodge tool to brighten up this bottom portion. All right, so we're going to come over to the left side menu here and select the one that looks kind of like a lollipop. I have mine set to midtones. My brush is a little bit hazy on the edges just to help it stay kind of like well blended instead of the sharp lines. And then I've got it set to 70% exposure. And the size you can adjust here, or you can adjust by using the bracket buttons on your keyboard. So what I want to do is brighten up at the edge, especially that hard, harsh edge here at the bottom, until everything blends together a little bit nicer. If you accidentally overblend or over brighten something, it's like, let's say I want to brighten up here as well, but I accidentally brightened something up a little more than I want. Like, let's say I came in here and now this is like this little fox head is starting to look a little too overexposed. So we can go in, right, and then grab that dodge tool, the lollipop tool again. And this time we want to do the one that looks almost like an okay hand. This one, I'm going to set my exposure to 20-ish%. And all I want to do is come in here and I'm going to darken up some of those spots that I overexposed. So that will help to bring back the color. I don't want to do too much. It is called the burn tool, so it'll keep darkening it with black, with like a black overlay until it starts to look actually burnt. So we're going to do that. And then let's zoom back out to print size and see how that looks. And see, that looks a lot better. You know, Fox is now a little bit less overexposed. So we can use this tool again. I'm going to grab that brush, or the dodge tool, I should say, and I'm just going to come in and brighten up in between some of these pieces so that that background stays like real nice and white. I'll also say that this is a little overexposed too, so let me go in there and fix that as well. Actually, let me make my brush a bit bigger so I can come in and recolor up that blanket a bit. And same with this little machine, I can darken that up so that we can see the distinguishing lines between the object and the background. I'm pretty happy with the way this photo looks, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. So we'll save it as the 3x8 JPEG here, and I will go ahead and save over the top of the other one from before. So now we've got both of my pictures are ready to go. We've got the flat lay of all the items, and then we've got the photo of me reading to the kids. So now that we have the photo all ready to go, the next thing that we're going to do is create the journaling card for all of our text. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and open up a new canvas. I want this canvas to be sized at 3 inches wide by 8 inches tall at 300 pixels per inch, and then we'll go ahead and hit OK. So this is going to give me my 3x8 journaling card. Now I'm going to open here. I want to use this Bedtime journaling card as my title piece. So I'm going to open up the 3x8 Bedtime card, select all of it and copy it, and then go back over to the 3x8 card and paste it right on top. Then we can just move it up to the top. It'll snap right at the top of it. Well, there we go. And then I'm going to come and grab my eyedropper tool, come back over to this card, and I want to just select the color of the background of the card itself because it's not quite perfectly white. And then we're going to use the paint bucket tool and we'll paint the background the same color. So now everything matches. Then we can go up to layer and merge the visible layers together to make it all one card. And then we can go ahead and save this as a 3x8 card. I like to save it as a PSD file as well as a JPEG. And then we'll go ahead and put this up to the max. There we go. So that's going to be the first step. Next, what I want to do is add some journaling points to it. For this, I'm going to use this Starry Night looking watercolored, what is this called? It's a circle sticker, it was a cardstock circle sticker. So I'm going to select it all and copy. Then we're going to go back over to our card and we're going to paste it on there. Now I need the move tool so we can move it into place. Now I'm going to actually use 6 of these so that we have a little bit of space in between them. And it does help me to put them all in a line. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what I want is I want one at the very bottom where I want the bottom one to start and one for where I want the top one to start. Then I can select all of these layers, all of these little dots, and having all of them, you can see over here my layers panel that they're all selected. We're going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to make sure that everything is aligned to the middle. That's going to make sure that they're lined up. So if one is slightly to the right or left, it'll put everything together. Then we're going to make sure that everything is aligned. Which one do I want here? Or everything is distributed. We're going to use one of these distribute. That's the one I want. So we're going to distribute from the top. So then it's this very top one here, and that'll make sure that the space in between all of the dots there is exactly the same. That's what we want. And then once we have it the way we like it, we can hit enter or we can click off of it. And now we've got our dots set up. The last thing you need to do is add some text boxes. So I'm going to click on the text tool and then come over to my page here and add a box. Okay, so let's just type in. I'm going to type in the word journaling and a space, and then I'm going to select that, copy it, and then just paste it so it becomes, you know, a block of pretend text. There we go. So we're going to select this layer. I'm going to come up to the top here, and I'm going to duplicate the layer, and we're actually going to do that a couple of times. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, nope, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And then we can just move them down to their sections. And we'll get these put into, well, actually, I guess they still kind of snap into place, so that works well enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to move that one over just a tad. That looks pretty good. I might actually move these over closer to their dots just a little bit. Like that. That looks pretty good. So what I would do here, and actually let's save this as that PSD file again, so that, you know, we can come in here and edit it and change it and print it. And then what we're going to do is fill out those journaling blocks with the actual text that we would put in, and then go ahead and get these elements printed. But actually, I'm going to wait just one more second before I print this section. So let's close out of that, close out of both of those items. And let's now open up a new canvas. So we're going to go File, New, and Blank. And this time, I'm going to set this to 12.875 so that it's the width of the entire spread that I'm about to make, and 8.25 so it is the height of the entire spread that I'm about to make. And we'll hit OK. So then we can go ahead and open up a couple of things. So let's grab open that card that we just made. And you know what? I'm actually going to go ahead and save this as a JPEG as well. So then I can, let's close back out of that and reopen the JPEG. That way we get the, it's easier to just manipulate it all. So I'm going to select it all and copy, go back to my main spread and paste it. And for now, let's just put this over to the left side. Then we can close out of the card. Then I'm going to go ahead and open up this photo that I had created before. This is a 6.875 by 8.25. We'll paste it on here and put this all the way over to the right. So now I can take this Bedtime and move it to the left. If you want the lines to stay around it, then you can select Control T for transform, and that'll give you the stronger guidelines so you can see, you know, exactly where it's at. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is open up the 3x8 card that we made earlier, photo that we did earlier. Same thing, can select it all, copy and paste, and then this one is going to go on the opposite side. I'm going to make sure it's good. Yes. It's going to go on the opposite side of my journaling card. So now we're getting there. We're almost there. Okay, next, I want to create the embellishment that I'm going to put at the bottom of my photo. So I have this half circle chipboard piece that I'm going to select it all, copy, and then let's go back over to our main spread and paste it. We can transform it, so we can go ahead and move it over, and then over in the layers panel, I guess I need to hit enter. I'm going to make sure that it's on top of all of the other layers so we can now see it. And you know what? I'm actually not going to do this here, so let's delete that. We're going to keep open the chipboard shape, but we're going to open up instead that 3x8 photo. It's going to give us, you know, a stronger guideline to where to put all of this. So Control A to select it all, Control C to paste, or sorry, C to copy, P to paste. And then I'm going to put this down at the bottom. From here, I want to actually not do that. So let's, nope, that's a lie. I want to transform this, and if I transform and move it, I probably just need to do it from the edge. So we're just going to go from those corner, nope, from those corner pieces feel like this is not doing it to scale. So let's go out and out. I just want this to fill up a greater portion of the space down here at the bottom. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and actually save this as 3x8 photo underscore chipboard or chip. Because I want to be able to put it over on my main spread here. So let's open, let's grab the photo plus the chipboard. Let's Control A for selecting all, Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And now we've got it with the chipboard, which is the correct sizing here. Okay, the last thing I want to do is add some embellishment to this large photo. So to do that, I'm actually going to use a PNG stamp. So we have this one that says Sweet Dreams. So for this, I want to separate the sweet from the dreams. So we're going to grab my marquee tool and draw a box over just the word sweet. It does pick up a piece of the D, that's okay. Then right click and we're going to layer via copy. Yes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hide our original layer. All we're looking at is the word sweet. Grab your eraser tool, which I can go ahead and make much bigger here. And then we're going to erase the pieces we don't need. So there's the word sweet. Now if we hide that one but bring up our original one, this time, and make sure it's selected, I'm going to go ahead and erase the word sweet so that this one is just the word dreams. So we'll just erase until we are down to just the word. So now I can bring back the original layer and we have everything here. Okay, so we're going to go Control A to select all. While we're here, we need to make sure we've got a layer selected up in our layers menu, and then we can go ahead and copy it and then go back to our main page here. And we're going to paste it. And then we also need to bring this layer all the way up to the top so we can see it. So then I can add the word sweet on there. Let's come back over. This time we're going to click on dreams and then we'll copy it, Control C, go back over to our main event and Control V to paste. And then we can move the dreams where we want dreams to go. Now the sweet, I probably want a little bit more to the right so that I can hole punch this photo. Whoops. But this is looking pretty good. So what I want to do with this, first of all, I wanted to make sure that this Sweet Dreams was going to be the right sizing, and it is. I actually really like how large that is. So we're going to save this as a PNG. Actually, let's go. No, we can just save it just like this. So we're going to save as a Sweet Dreams PNG. And then we're actually going to save it as a PNG as well. I just wanted to put that on there so that it differentiates it. Okay, and then we can close out of the stamp. And then we're also going to open up this yellow moon here. We're going to select it all, Control A, copy, Control C, and paste, Control V. And I need to, again, put this all the way on top. So we can move this. I want this to go up in this blank space here. And I also want it to be significantly bigger, probably right around that size, and hit enter. So then we'll have a moon here with the word Sweet Dreams, the bedtime journaling, and then our photo with the flat lay of the stuff of bedtime. So to get everything printed, here is what I would do. First, I will open up an 8.5 by 11. So let's go File, New, Blank File. We need inches. And you are going to be 8.5 inches wide by 11 inches tall. Then we're just going to go piece by piece. So for this one, let's say we're going to do everything that's printed on photo paper. So we're going to select all, but then we have this layer 2 selected, right? So we'll copy that, come over to our page and paste. We can transform this, and then down here in this angle, you can type in 90 and it'll turn it sideways. So then I can move it up to the top, and this gives me a little bit more space to add some additional pieces on here, which is basically just the photo. So now the next thing I want is layer 3, which is the photo without the good night thing on it. So let's Let's copy layer 3. We're going to paste it, and then again, Control T, come down and type in 90. And then we can move that down to the bottom. So that's going to be my page of photo stuff. Anything I'm going to print on my, basically on glossy photo paper. So then let's open up another new canvas. We're going to do the same thing, 8.5 by 11. This time we're going to put anything on here that's going to go on matte photo paper. So I've got the moon, which is layer 7. So we're going to select that, copy it, and paste it. And the reason I'm copying it and pasting it from the page is because it'll copy it, or it'll maintain the size that I had designated for it. And then the rest of this is going to be, I need the different pieces. So before we close out of our main file here, I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to put it in Jonah's file here, and this is going to be stuff, we'll say Jonah stuff of bedtime spread. And we'll also save it as a JPEG. So this is going to let me come back and make sure that everything looks how I want it to look when I'm putting it together on the actual, craft table. Okay, so then we're going to go back to the main page. So I want this 3x8 card in the PNG, or not the PNG, the PSD file, because I want to grab all 6 of these circles, and we're going to copy those and paste them. Whoops, I keep forgetting that PSD is, or that Photoshop Elements is a little bit different. So we need to make sure that we've got everything selected. Then I've got my layers. We'll copy those, and then Elements is so annoying. Okay, let's unselect, unselect. So select all. We're gonna go layer 1 through 6. Copy. Can I only do one at a time? Okay, apparently you can only do one at a time. Okay, so for this one, let's go ahead and grab layers 1 through 6. We're going to right click on them and we're going to merge those so that they just become one file. Then we can select all, copy this layer, come back over to our matte photo paper, and then we're going to paste that on here. The reason I did that is because Elements doesn't like when you select more than one layer to copy and paste from a document. So we're just going to make this a bit easier on ourselves. Then I'm going to hide this file. And what we would do is, let's pretend that my journaling is all filled out. Most likely I'm going to save this as the 3x8 card with journaling and save that as a JPEG just to make it easier here in a second as well. We'll close out of it. We'll say no. And then let's reopen the file with the journaling. So now I can select all, copy, paste, and this is going to just go here on my matte photo paper page as well. Okay, so we've got my card, we've got the moon. I did these separate because I actually want to punch them out and give them a little bit more dimension. And then the last thing that we need is the chipboard piece. So let's go grab the, let's find where it is with chipboard. So it's going to be this one, 3x8 photo. I want to grab layer 1, select all. We're going to copy layer 1, come back over and paste layer 1, and then I can put that here at the bottom. So now we'll have, a little section left where we can add some journaling to later. Let me see, is there anything else I need to do here? Let's open back up our main spread and just see if there's anything else. The only other thing would be to create a cut file from the Sweet Dreams, because that's what I want to do for that title. So these two I would go ahead and print off. Let me open up my Silhouette Studio so I can show you how I create a cut file from that stamp set. Okay, so we have Silhouette Studio open. Next, what I'm going to do is open up the PNG that we made, the Sweet Dreams PNG. Okay, so we have our file open here on my mat. So all that I need to do is come to the right side menu, and we're going to click on the button that looks kind of like a butterfly. Then we'll select the trace area button. So just click on that button and draw a box around the words Sweet Dreams. The words are going to light up yellow. That just means that it's selecting all of that to trace around, and then hit this trace button. From here, we can move the original file. Go ahead and delete this. We don't need this anymore. And then now we have this cut file that we can go ahead and send to the Silhouette to just cut it out for us. I'm likely going to cut this from either some kind of starry looking paper or from some kind of solid blue paper. I'm not totally sure yet, but that's going to be my next step. So I'm going to go ahead and print off both of those pages of my photo. So this is going to be photo paper. This is going to be matte photo paper. I should have said glossy photo paper, matte photo paper, and then I will also get this title cut out. And then I will meet you back over at my craft table to go ahead and get everything else assembled. All right, friends, so here we are back at my desktop. Now I am going to put you on fast forward while I get this all assembled, but before I do, I just wanted to show you one thing that I'm planning to do with all of my product here. So I've got my 2 photos printed, and those I'm pretty much going to leave as is, and the journaling card as well. But for the rest of these digital elements, so these were this was a chipboard shape, this was a puffy sticker, and these were some of the cardstock stickers. I'm actually planning to turn all of these into chipboard pieces. To do that, I have a piece of chipboard that I had ordered off of scrapbook.com. They come in 12 by 12 sheets. I'm not exactly sure what the width of this is, but I'll make sure to go ahead and link it down below in the post for you in case you're looking for something like this. It is archival, which means that it won't cause any issues on your photos over the course of time. So what I'm planning to do with this is to simply roughly cut out my shape so that I'm not, wasting any space here. And then I am going to glue them directly down. I'm just going to use my roller adhesive to glue them directly down onto the chipboard here. Then I'm going to take this off screen and fussy cut everything out. It's just easier for me to do it that way. And then we're going to come back over here and get everything put together. So just as an example, I would take this piece right here. Whoop, let me just throw that. And then I'm just going to add adhesive all over the back side of it and then stick it down directly onto this piece here. We'll do the same for the moon, and then we'll do the same for those circles. And this is just going to give me a little bit of dimension on my project that will make it seem a little bit less digitally made, I suppose, and it'll give it a little bit more interest, a little bit more dimension, a little bit more texture on the page itself. And then I'm just going to cut off a section here, and then this I can use for other projects at other times. So I'm going to go ahead and head off screen to get all of these pieces fussy cut out. And then once I have that done, we'll head back over here. I'm going to put you on fast forward, get the rest of the spread put together, and then we'll slow down once I've got that done. All right, so now I'm back and I've got everything cut out that I need in addition to the Sweet Dreams silhouette file that we created digitally. And I cut that out twice, once with the Starry Night type of paper that you can see there. That's a Vicky Boutin paper that I believe is discontinued. And I think it may have been from her storyteller collection. So I have it cut out of that, and then I also cut it out of a white cardstock as well, just so I could layer it behind the pattern piece in order to help it pop off of the page here, which you'll see in just a second once I get that on there. So I'm using some liquid adhesive and just putting some dabs all around the backside of the starry pattern paper. and then sticking that down onto the white there. And then I'll use my roller adhesive to cover the backside of the title in order to stick it down onto the paper. I'm just going to use a little bit of scratch paper here so that I don't accidentally get adhesive on my table space. So we'll do this. I'm going to adhere these up at the top of the page, which this I did the exact same thing with a spread for Isabella. That video just shows you the same spread using a different program. And then once I have those up there, I'm going to take the moon that I printed on the matte photo paper, and then it's, I turned it into a chipboard piece, add some adhesive to that, and stick that in the upper right hand corner. And that's going to complete the photo portion, or the large photo portion of this spread. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the 3x4 photo there. First, I am adding the Goodnight half circle chipboard piece there at the bottom. And then I've got a stamp set that says the story of this night. And I'm going to round it out so that it will go around the outside of that chipboard piece. I will use my scrapbook.com premium black dye ink to ink that up and then stamp it directly on the photo around where you see the chipboard piece. I'll also use that same scratch paper just to go underneath where the stamp will go off of the page. That way I don't make a mess of it here as I am working on this spread. And then the last thing I'm going to do, well, I guess second to last thing I'm going to do, is to take those circle embellishments that we created from the cardstock stickers, except now they are chipboard stickers that I have made. And I'm going to use those on the journaling portion next to the paragraphs of journaling. And then inside of those, I'm going to add some of the white stickers there. So I have the alphabet stickers that also include numbers, and I'm going to number them 1 through 6. And then I'm going to take a second set of the 1 through 6 white sticker numbers and add those on top of the items that the journaling correlates to on the flat lay photo. So the things that I have included in Jonah's spread, I have his Mickey Mouse blanket, which is his Linus blanket. He brings that blanket everywhere. Refuses to leave the house without it, refuses to watch TV without it. That blanket goes everywhere. Then we've also got his special stuffies. He has his fox that he's had since he was a baby. And then he has his Mario. He's obsessed with Mario. So those two come with us everywhere. So we've always got to have the blanket and the 2 stuffies all the time. I've also got a little portion there of his sound machine, and I talk about the song that he listens to every night when he goes to bed. I've got a couple of his books that we've been reading at night. I've got his toothbrush, I believe, is on here. And then I've also got a pacifier, which, just shows right now a picture, of what bedtime looks like for us right now, because next year, who knows, he might not even use a passy anymore, most likely. So this is just a valuable story to tell right now. All right, friends, that completes my spread for today. I hope that you guys have enjoyed seeing this one come together and have found the online or the computer portion and the physical portion helpful for seeing how to use digital products to create hybrid spreads. This one was not too difficult and a really fun story to tell. So one that you could tell for you or your family members or your kids. There's just a whole bunch of options that you could do with the story like this one. If you are a Photoshop Creative Cloud user, I do have another video today that takes you through the same process using that program. And that story is this exact same one, but it's for Izzy instead of for Jonah. So it is a little bit different. Even if you don't want to watch the video footage, I will have photos and all of that in the blog post that accompanies the video. So you can check that out if you would like. All right, well, that is going to be it for today. I will be back again tomorrow with another hybrid process video, and I'm just excited to take you through the process yet again. All right, friends, well, until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye now.